Hello, I'm Michael Diamond. You're watching Muscle Central. Okay, I was just watching a video on Jay Cutler's channel. Uh, he had on, it was taking place at his home, obviously. He had Dan Solomon and a gentleman goes by the name of Matt, the manager. Be honest with you, I'm not sure who he is, but it was a freedom sitting down, discussing things involving bodybuilding. And at some point, Shawn Ray came up in a conversation. Now, no disrespect for Dan Solomon, I'm not attacking you, but I don't just disagree with what you said. You're wrong. Plain and simple. When addressed about the Shawn Ray situation, as we all know, Shawn Ray said those false things about Shawn Rhoden right after he passed. He's been very inappropriate, to say the least, in some of the things he said during commentary on at bodybuilding shows and outside of that. He has a history of going too far. So Dan Solomon was addressed on the Shawn Ray situation. Now, in his response, he mentioned two things: freedom of speech and opinions. I agree with you about freedom of speech. We all should have that freedom of speech. But there are situations where, first off, you can't, fire in a crowded movie theater. You can get arrested for that. You can be tried in a criminal court and a civil court for something like that. You can argue all you want. That's your freedom of speech. You're free to say what you want. If your speech incites violence, harm to anybody, can result in harm to anybody, potentially death, which that can happen. You can cause a panic if you yell fire in a crowded movie theater. That's beyond your freedom of speech. And when you say things about people in a public forum, especially when people are public people, and it's not a matter of opinion. Opinion is, in this case, not a matter of opinion. An opinion is when Shawn Ray is sitting down and critiquing a bodybuilder when he's commentating on a show, when the judges are scoring the bodybuilder. That's a matter of opinion. When you say things about a person that are outright lies, that are not true, and those things can cause damage to the person, can cause emotional stress, could cause financial problems, could affect the way their employee looks at them, can cost them their job, possibly. It affects the way people interact on them in everyday life. And what you said is just an outright lie, not true. That's not an opinion. So when you were talking about Shawn Ray and you talk about freedom of speech and opinions, a person's opinion, they have a right to their opinion and they have a right to freedom of speech. What Shawn Ray did with Shawn Rhoden was not a matter of freedom of speech and an opinion. He said something that was outright untrue. He defamed Shawn Rhoden. It wasn't an opinion because there's a yes and no to it. It's an objective thing. Either he is or was what Shawn Ray said he was, or he wasn't. So it's not a matter of opinion. Now, to go a little further, we want to try to conclude this video. Ask about canceling Shawn Rhoden or firing him. And he used an analogy about other things that people have said that he doesn't agree with. He hasn't called for to cancel him, for them to be fired from a position. But we're not talking about things that are defamatory in nature, that are outright lies. Is defamatory a word? Let's change that. Defaming, say anything that's defaming. I hope that's a word. And it's outright lie. It's not an opinion-based thing. He's done it over and over again. You employ him. Sure, some of the things he's said and done have been outside of him commentating on a bodybuilding show, but he's done this on your time. You're an employee. You're an employer, and he's an employee at that point. An employer has a right to protect their company, and there are certain things that you are not allowed or should not be allowed to do on the job, especially when it can affect the employer on top of everything else. Even outside of your job, if you do things, you take actions that can ultimately affect your employer, and you do so knowingly that it can affect your employer, an employee has a right to take action. You have a right. You're an employee. He's an employee of yours. Jake's Wood owns the company, and you're his number one man. Okay, he's an employee of yours. You have a right to protect your company and protect your company's interest. We don't need Shawn Ray. Like I said in a previous video, it's a shame because he's very knowledgeable in the sport. And if he wants to, he can give a very good and in-depth analysis and critique of a physique just from his experience in bodybuilding. And he has a lot of years under his belt. But he chooses to take it too far. I'm sorry, Dan Solomon, you're wrong. It's not freedom of speech at this point. It's not an opinion because it's a yes or no. It's a black or white thing. It's not maybe this, maybe that. And you as an employee, as an employer, has a right to discipline and up to termination of your employee if he's doing things that can hurt other employees or hurt the company. All right, that's just my 2 cents on this. If you agree or disagree with me, please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share, and by all means subscribe. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. This way, every time I put up a new video, you will be notified. Also, if you go to the description box, there are some links there. One link is to the Facebook Muscle Central page. Any questions, you can go there. DM me. I'd be happy to answer them. Also, you're going to find links to Species Nutrition, Mr. Potts Protein. Click on both links. Go to both websites. Check out all their great products. Once again, this is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.